So without further ado, I present to all of our users the Email Sync Assistant. The Email Sync Assistant is a Lightning web component used for Salesforce Lightning that you'll be able to place on any Lightning record page. We imagine our users are going to put it primarily on the Home tab in Salesforce, but it's available to put anywhere you'd like, part of that beauty of Salesforce customization. The goal here is the Lightning Web Component is going to recommend leads and contacts based off of email addresses that don't yet exist in your Salesforce org. Right? Primarily, we're trying to streamline the creation of leads and contacts. Most people, and I think most things in human nature, it's a path of least resistance. If it's difficult to add a lead or a contact, you just find people won't do it. It's really the name of our game, right? We automatically match emails, and that is just taking the responsibility off users, making it easier. And now we want to try to implement that same idea, but with adding leads and contacts. So hopefully your sales reps will get the most out of this tool, adding leads and contacts and not losing leads anymore in their inbox. And then hopefully as a side effect of all of this, you'll see user adoption of Salesforce increase. That's also one of our main goals here. But enough with the PowerPoint. I'm going to jump into a live environment where I'll show off the application in our demo org here. So here's our demo org. In the top right, you see we've placed the Email Sync Assistant on the Home tab. Before I start clicking around in here though, I'm going to go into the Match My Email dashboard, which if you're a user of Match My Email should look quite familiar, I'd hope. And this is where historically you were able to add leads and contacts based off of no-match emails, not necessarily no-match email addresses, which there's a distinction. And if you wanted to add that new lead or contact, you could have hovered over no match, clicked plus match, and then you would have had a form come up. You could have pulled the email up side by side here and then populated those fields manually, which as part of the feedback we heard, we want this automated. So going back over to the Home tab, in this org, right, I see under this queue of names here, a list of recommended leads and contacts. In a hypothetical, I've been communicating with somebody at Wild Horizon, which is an account in this org. Ben Stern, as a recommended contact or lead, he doesn't exist yet in Salesforce, but I know that the account Wild Horizon exists, and maybe he was just CC'd on an email chain, and I want to add him as a contact. I could go in here, hit that plus contact action button, which is going to pull up a compressed form. It's going to show first name, last name, email, and account name. And then in your specific org, any required fields would also automatically show up under this form here. You see we've auto-populated first name, last name, email, and account. Since the account exists, it's a nice feature, we'll actually automatically populate that account field. The first name and last name are populated based off of the display name a user puts when they set up their email address. And say you want to add some other fields here, you could hit expand, and you'll see a full list of all the fields that exist under contact. A nice feature too, you can pull that email message up side by side in case there's any information in the email that you want to use in populating this field here. Right? Okay, so that's adding a contact. We envision this list or imagine this list can get pretty long. A lot of people are sending a large number of emails or receiving a large number of emails every day. So one way, there's really going to be two ways here, but one way that you can shorten this list is if you see on the top here we have this search bar. You can do a quick search and that'll bring up the user you're looking for. So say I've had a conversation with Gail and this list was long and I needed to quickly add a lead or contact for Gail. I could look for Gail here in that search, add lead, and you're going to see the same form here that you saw with adding a contact. Again, required fields under lead would show up. And if you needed to add extra fields, you could hit expand, pull up the email message, and this is going to show that most recent email you've sent or received to this individual. And then populate those fields and go ahead and create a new lead. So let's go ahead and do that. And that's going to go right ahead and add a new lead, and now it's going to take that lead off of the recommended list there. Right. Okay. The other way that you can manage this queue of recommended leads and contacts is by hitting this drop down next to the add lead, add contact action items. and you'll see two options here. You have an ignore option and a dismiss option. The ignore option is going to add logic that says skip processing this email address going forward into the future, right? It doesn't mean that we're going to never upload emails when this email address is a party on that email. It just means that singular email address we won't process, okay? The dismiss, on the other hand, is a more temporary dismissal. It just says, maybe I can't make a decision right now if this person or this email address should be added as a lead or a contact. Let me clean up the queue here, dismiss this temporarily, and then you'll see this dismiss email address prompt, confirm, and then that'll reset and go away there. There's probably going to be more ignore rules being created in Match My Email now with this functionality. So in the top right, you see we have this icon, which will lead you directly to Match My Email's control panel. And this is an admin view. As an end user though, you would still have this ignores tab. So if you go under ignores as an admin or an end user, you can manage the whole list of ignores that you've created right there. And that's the gist of it. You know, it's straightforward. It's very similar to really the name of our game and our brand. We want to make Salesforce a better CRM. It shouldn't be this intimidating tool that people are afraid to get into and understand. And so we're bringing everybody this email sync assistant. If you are an active customer of Match My